Morning.
Morning.
Choboraya wanasema ni
Fine.
ulisikiza voice note yangu?
Eh?
Ulisikiza voice note yangu?
But nilikuwa nafikiria kuisikiza actually.
Ni mtu mbaya. Yeah. So how have you been?
Yes.
How have you been?
Nimesikiza early now. I've been good. Yeah, I've been good too. Chill too. Na wewe?
Mimi nimekuwa poa.
Mm.
Not chilling though.
Not chilling. What have you been doing?
Nimekuwa tu on and off, business kidogo, trading kidogo. Sasa kuna mahali nilienda nikanikiwa check ingine inafaa kutoka sijui April.
Check inafaa imache April.
Imagine.
Mbona alieka ya mbali hivyo?
I wish I was there. I wish ningekuwa in a position kuuliza hivyo pia.
Ndio uko na limit ya like 2 weeks max.
Business.
Usema kuna watu wanatupelekanga mbio. Kuna watu wanasemanga ya kesho. Ama umpe cash.
Cash inakuanga way cheaper. Inakuanga inaweza kuwa less na a lot of money.
Yeah, but April though.
I know, right? Anyway, shall happen.
Yeah.
So what? Yeah, so this is the economic calendar that we have. So hizi news mingi zishapita.
Hakuna volatile leo ama?
Hakuna high volatility that you're expecting, but the war is still on. So a lot what happened in the market. Nimeona gappings kiasi huku. Let's start with here. In JJ iko na gapping.
Si zote ziko na gapping?
Hapana, si zote. Kama hii GUA.
Naona kuna volatile news ya AUD usiku though. At night.
Iko wapi? Where do you see it?
Mimi naangalia kwa Forex Factory.
Yeah. Maybe you see volatile sana kwangu.
Lakini vile AUD imekuwa ikikuwa affected.
So let's start with here. Channel imekuwa ikiform. Tukasema once to breach this area to the upper side ndio tutakuwa tunafanya nini? Tutakuwa tuna change our cards actually. Tutakuwa tuna wait for another signal ya buy. Haikupita. Ikaa tu hapa. So actually, ninge change hii trend line. Then let me try. Let me see. Can do this. I could also have done this. Sheila, not to entertain.
Hai, hapana, si mimi.
Kumbe tuko wengi. Well, we're just the two of us. Anyway, so so unaona, morning Terry.
Morning to you. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Barkutwa mambo.
Pardon?
Poa Juma.
So tulikuwa tuna anticipate that ikifika at this area tuta bounce back, and that is what exactly happened. Though tulikuwa tumesema if we reach this area to the upper side tutakuwa tunaangalia, we will be looking at different cards na haikupita. So as at now we are in a very tricky situation because of the war, because actually that is what pushed the market to the lower side in most of the currencies kama uliangalia. So this wasn't an effect of a price action, just pure price action. But as you can see, it did come to a bearish market at a very strong momentum, and this was a good pitch. I think Sheila, you had captured some of these trades, right?
Yeah.
Because it happened kwa currencies kadhaa. Niko sure most of us, hata kama hukuwa rada, ulikuja kukuwa rada later. So the GU iliweza kushuka, but now the question is where we are at. What will happen now? What are we anticipating from this market? Now that's the big question. Sijui Sheila kama ulikuwa umefanya analysis ya hii.
Nimefanya analysis ya hii wiki, if that's what you're asking.
So lakini generally after E formation, what were you anticipating?
Me honestly, I need a breakthrough out of the trend. So vile ilianza kushuka, ngojea tu nione pale itafika.
Na sasa mali tuko, what are you thinking? What because I'm also not decided on this market. It hasn't given me the best signals you can get. However, we are in a very strong SNR area. Tukienda kwa daily time frame, tunaona ilikuwa this was the hapa ndio ilikuwa imelai previously, ndio? Na previously ilifika hapa ikakosa ku make to the lower low actually what you were anticipating. Unaona, I was in this trade, so I did mu trail stop loss zangu at least, so at least I got something out of it, but haikufika to our anticipated target. And this time round ili spike tu na ikarudi, meaning this price was rejected very quickly. That is in a daily time frame. If you come into a 4 hours time frame, the same thing happened. So the question is, will it be buying or will it be selling, especially because it is in this region? So for me, I'm still, I think I'll be a bit skeptical. I'll be waiting to watch. However, I'm thinking that this might be a bullish market. This might be a bullish market because of a few number of reasons. Reason number one, this was a very impactful news from the war, and the impact from the war now, there was a lot of panic at first. So tukiangalia news, tunaona saizi vitu ziko tumeanza kuzoea about the war, tunajua sasa ina happen, and so maybe we'll not be dumping the USD that much, and since this happened at a very high pace, tunaweza pata quite a retracement before we come to we change the direction of the market or even go higher. So for me, I'll be waiting to watch. However, I'm a bit positive that the bulls will take over this market. But again, I think it will be the wrong time to get into this market. We'll watch and see. So probably the New York market ndio tutupea, that is around saa 9:30. Ndio inaweza tupea another direction, another angle of this market. For now, hizi spikes zinaweza kutoa. For now, one must be very careful on what they trade in this currency pair. Today in the morning, this is what happened today in the morning. In the GJ tumeona kulikuwa na gapping. So in this currency pair, to be specific, naona kama in 1 hour, the formation of this candle, this which engulfed these two bearish candle, might be changing the market. We've seen this similar pattern from, let's say, gold last year. Last year, gold had such a pattern at around this time, actually, at around February, where ilipoanza kupanda, ilikuja tu ikatupa discount, where guys did buy, and up to today it is holding above. So I think this is what will happen with the GU as at now. Sijui Sheila kama uko na different opinion ama unataka tuangalie it at a different angle tufanye analysis, because the thing is right now with the war we might not follow the technical analysis 100%. And so this market is kind of good for scalping actually, rather than buying and holding because of any news that might come up and any interference that might happen. But for me, I think this market will start being bullish. Actually, I had done my analysis yesterday, so I'm anticipating that the market itanirudisha at least place tulitoka before to take direction ya kuendelea juu ama kurudi. So my first target will be here, but again I'll be watching to see ikienda chini, then my stop losses lazima zitakuwa tight. Sijui Sheila unaonaje? Unaona kaita buy pia?
But sidhani ita break out of that trend here, out of that
Yeah,
channel yet.
Hapa hivi
Yeah,
sasa.
I think bado itarudi for a sale. Yeah.
Actually it might take time hata before ifike huku, but we'll be watching to see. Sijui Terry unaonaje wewe? So kulikuwa na gapping ya GJ Sheila, tumeona hivyo. So on a daily time frame, GJ pia imekuwa ikistagnate at this area, but kama GU venye tunasema tunaona ilifika hapa na ikakataa kupita chini, meaning haitakuja kuchallenge this area. But again, this is a double top. This is a double top. Will it form a triple top? Will it form a different opinion? My opinion is that now with the GJ as well, is that first itarudi I place kwanza, itarudi mali ilitoka before it pay direction. Because this was high momentum triggered by the war. This was triggered by the war. But I will not say that it is a long-term bullish market. I'll just be watching. I'll be waiting to watch ifika kwa hii region kwanza. This is a scenario region that formed previously. So that it will be kind of retracement. Let me call it a retracement, not a reversal. So the market will still be bearish in the long term, but as at now, see guys, we are holding at this region where we do have a very strong SNR area. It has not breached this area to the downside. And actually at night, it did a very big gapping. No, this is gapping with the bullish being very strong. However, they started the price at a very low rate. So probably kuna wase wengi sana walitolewa kwa market na hii gapping. Kuna wase wali make pia pesa na hii gapping. Depends with how you trade. But for me, I think it will be a bit bullish. But again, we'll be watching to see. Like I said, it's during these are the market conditions that zinafanyanga good trader ajulikane. There are times that you stay out of the market because you're not sure of what you're doing, and sometimes you know what risks you are at. So you do not have to trade every now and then just because we've done analysis. Sometimes managing the risk, because kama hii probably someone was very correct in it, but ikamtoa because maybe alikuwa sha buy akatrail stop loss yake below this area, basa unaona ilimtoa, and this was just a gap. Sijui kama tunaelewana Sheila.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Yeah. So I think this market in the long run will be a bullish market. But for now, let's wait and see, because we are holding above this area. We are holding above this area. We've not reached this area to the downside. Unaona last time tulikuwa tuna anticipate that itakuja chini. So if it doesn't, for me, I think we'll get some bullish market at least up to this trend line before we start going lower again. So that will perfect our double top. Kama sio hivyo, it might even go higher and bridge this area to the upper side. However, that is very unlikely in the short term, in the course of the week. But in the course of the day, I think we'll be experiencing some retracement from what happened last week. That is it for the GJ, unless someone else have a different opinion.
Juma. GJ, mimi naona kuna nini haikufiliwa like from unaona ni hiyo 21st deck kwa daily time frame. Na hiyo pata haikufiliwa na ikarudi ikareject tena. So like vile Euro USD, like kama umeona Euro USD
unasema ngoja tunaongelea in the daily time frame, this is how it looks. Unasema December hawakufeel wapi?
Hapo kuanzia 22nd unaona hiyo part ya hizo strong bullish candles haikufiliwa tena, haijaifiliwa. So penye mimi na anticipate either in the 4 hour candle close below that SNR tutaweza rudi hadi 150 juu hiyo area ukiangalia ilikuwa bullish ingine strong sana na haijaifiliwa. The similar case to Euro USD. Euro USD haiko imefeel from 27 January. Then the market last week ndio ilikuwa ikijaribu kuifeel like haiko imefiliwa.
Na sasa ndio
tulikuwa na news.
Yeah, so that one I agree. That is what tunasema we are still not sure about this market. First of all, remember, this was a very high momentum, and that is why this retracement happened, and it at least happened 50%. But there was gapping today in the morning. So what will happen in our short term first? Because most of us, like me and Sheila, we do our analysis based on the fact that we are intraday traders. So we take our setups at least for a day or two.
Oh
yes. So but in the long run, we'll be watching to see a good signal that will give us entries, and maybe there is a likelihood that the retracement might happen up to this area before we start going to feel whatever you're saying we'll feel. I agree with you, but before then, what will happen for maybe today and tomorrow and the other day?
Oh, nyinyi mnafanya ya nini? Exactly. Yani intraday.
Yes. We are not swing traders.
Oh.
Yes.
Iko sawa hivyo. Hadi mimi naona.
So we might experience some at least some because unaona pia venye unasema the market unaona hapa imetupea actually this is like a triple top. Unaona? So most likely is that the market will come down, but before then, because sasa tuko kwa neckline tunaweza experience some bullish market kidogo ndio tukuje sasa huku chini.
Iko sawa. Euro USD time.
Basi wacha tuone hiyo Euro USD pia inakaa hivi. Unaona? Kuna gapping pia kwa Euro USD. Na tulikuwa tushafika kwa retracement huko. So will we feel this gapping? Will this gapping be filled? That is the first thing I always ask myself once I see a gapping. And most likely it is always filled in most cases. As long as you've been in the market for the past 3 years, that is what has been happening. Because tunangaliana the recent past, what's been happening. In the recent past, gappings zimekuwa zikikuwa filled. And in this case, now itakuwa filled up to first at least this area I can't remember why we drew this trend line. Let me acha nifute kwanza. Yeah. So again, you see, this is kind of a double top. So kwa hii double top inamaanisha the market might push lower. Again, while mali ilikuwa ina close before, mali ili close at around Thursday, unaona it was in a very strong SNR area. Na haija breach this area to the downside. But bado ijapeana confirmation na hivi because ilikuja ikareject price na ikarudi back to challenge this area before it decides on what to do. That is on a daily time frame, which is a very good movement anyway. But sasa where we are at, will we be able to breach this area to the downside easily? Ama kwanza tutakuja huku juu so that we can gain momentum, so that we can get the discounts that we always talk about, because the market is very generous. It always gives us the market, the discount. Sheila, tuko pamoja?
Yeah. So unasema nini una predict ita happen kwa hii market?
Nasema bado tunaweza pata some bullish, a bit a number of bullish candles before we see what direction it will give us. But in the long run, this might be a bearish market. But before then, it might come to challenge this area hapa juu. Inaweza rudi hata kwa hii consolidation ili happen previously. Again, tusisahau ati tuko na very volatile news zenye haziko kwa kalenda zetu. That's the issue. With the tension that is happening, there's a lot that might happen without us being aware. So I think this would be a better time for people not to be careless. Let's be a bit careful with our lot sizes and our money.
By the Bloomberg imeninis inakonga site ya kwanza inatoanga news. By the imereduciwa per week ni only $0.5 only.
No.
Saizi. So you can unaweza ilipia juu sahi, lazima ukue rada.
Bas, that is what I'm saying. So mimi hata mimi hufuata Bloomberg sana. Bloomberg, I think hakuna trader atumiangi Bloomberg. Sijui, but hakuna trader tumeangaliangi Bloomberg. So naona kama we'll get a few bullish candles before we come back and maybe breach that area to the downside. That is later during the week, or in case of any tension, again, it might even happen today or tomorrow. I don't know. So we'll be watching. Ushaiona ile the market yenye na formingi inakuwa something ilikaa mahali sana. Unaona kama sasa inaweza form very small candles and then ikuje. Acha nitafute example. If I get an example, I'll show you. But there's a lot of the time, a lot of times unapatanga market. Kama for example, ilikuwa bearish market, inaenda pole pole, and then one candle inaengafu hizo zote at one point because of the momentum. So momentum imekuwa struggle on the other hand. On the other hand, inakuwa something very easy, inakuwa na very high momentum. So that might happen in this market as well. Tusisahau hiyo. This is the Aussie. The Aussie pia tulikuwa tumeangalia, I think either on my own ama with a number of teams, and tulikuwa tuna anticipate that once this happened, if you can remember, tulikuwa tuna anticipate to get more buys because there is a sweetness. By the sijui kama ni mimi peke yangu, and I'm scalping, me will try to capture sana some buys from where I left. Such setups for me will always give me buys and very tight stop losses so that I can maximize on the comeback. And you can see that the Aussie actually did that. Isha engulf almost 70%. Isha retrace almost 70% of what we were anticipating that it will do. Nona. And right now, because I'm in this active trade, I'm still in losses because of what happened today in the morning. But I'm anticipating that it might come back right in and even maybe challenge this area to the upper side before it takes another direction again, and probably in the long term a bearish direction. But again, we look at that during the week, maybe tomorrow and the other day, na wale watu tutakuwa tunao privately. But I think for today we'll be looking out for a bullish market. We'll be looking for a bullish market for today. But for the other days, again, like I said, then we'll also be very careful with whatever might happen because of the war. This happens to the Aussie as well. Sijui kama kuna different opinion. Nisikuwe napitia juu na ni mimi na understand na kumbe nyinyi tuko pamoja. Sheila.
Mimi niko very uncertain about the market currently. But pia maybe ni kuwatch na kuwait pia. Ngoja tu ni guide. Yeah.
So sawa. Let's wait and see. Again, for the USD card, I haven't been trading this. Nilikuwa na watch actually last week. Unaona ijai pita below this area. Hold above. No. Imekuwa hold above this area. So nimekuwa nikiwatch. I was wondering whether ita come to this side. Very interesting times we are living at. Very interesting times. Saizi as we speak, iko tena in a resistance area. So will it come back right in and form another pattern ama nini? For me, I think this market is then it a push up further. Don't think it will push up further, but I think it will come down lower. I think the bearish market will come lower. First of all, because haijaweza kuchallenge this area, this resistance area. Haijapita to the upper side. It has not breached to the upper side. So there is likelihood that it will come to fill this gapping first before anything happens. Before anything happens, we might come and fill this gap. So we might come to equalize whatever happened today in the morning because of the momentum. That is what I think of the USD card. Nilikuwa nimepitia hizi analysis on Friday and on the weekend. I know Ian pia alikuwa na Zoom meetings. I'm not sure because I wasn't in, but yeah, there's a lot of similarities on what we do. So I'm sure we'll have maybe a joint one and see what we're anticipating, especially during this time when kuna war. So there's a lot of uncertainties that are happening in the markets. But again, we see we are holding above this area. So our market has been bullish for the longest time. So even though tunasema itashuka just to fill in the gapping, in the long run, I think this will be a bullish market. So for now, it might do that, but in the long run, it will come to challenge this area and even make higher highs. It might take time, but will happen eventually. Eurocard, kuna mtu ana trading Eurocard? I doubt. Na oil. So hapa ndio watu walitengeneza pesa na wengine wakapoteza. So this was a good setup. However, ili reverse haraka sana. Ndio maana mimi nakuanga careful sana na take profits zangu sometimes, especially when I'm trading gold because it's one of my favorites. Again today tutakuwa tunaangalia kuona kama itaturudisha mali tulikuwa. Na actually it did at first, ilifika mali ilikuwa. So from here again we are playing at a very neutral ground again. So we'll be watching to see whether it goes up or high. This market is not very clear, and especially because ilitokea very strongly hapa chini. However, most of us are very positive on this gold market. We are hoping that it will make a comeback and even make higher highs. So we look into that again with, a number of guys, and then we'll let you know, because there's a lot to look at, and especially this war, because USD and gold kuna vile gold huwa inakazia USD, especially when in terms of crisis. If you remember last year, last year but one, gold hit its high highs during the pandemic. Sijui kama mnakumbuka. During the pandemic ndio gold ilikuja after, okay, yeah, it was before the pandemic and then after the pandemic pia ikakuja ikafika karibu 2000 and then it came back right in. Na since then haijafika tena mahali tulikuwa. So we'll be looking at to see what happens because it's been holding above this area for the longest time now. And that means that gold is still in very high ounces. And especially in terms of war now, it means that gold might even be more bullish than it was before. But we'll watch and see. So Sai tuko in a very tricky situation where we have support and resistance, and down here we have resistance here and we have support down here. So we'll be watching to see what happens before we even decide. We'll be looking at many parameters. I think tutatumia a lot of fundamentals on gold. Tutaangalia COT report pia. Tutaangalia COT report, what it says, so that if many traders are buying, what should we do? You see, the demand and supply now, this is where it comes in, and now we can use support and resistance after we've based our analysis on that. Na juu sijaangalia saa hizi ya last week, I think I'll be waiting to see what happens in that market. Sijui ni currency gani ingine huwa mna trade, but I know a New Zealand dollar is of interest.
Yeah, alafu angalia pia GBP/AUD.
Kumbusha nishasema GBP/AUD. Bas. So for me niko bullish na hii market. Because I was in this, I'm anticipating that the bulls will push this market to the upper side and at least challenge this area. And at least challenge this area before we make higher highs. Let me look at it in 1 hour. So you see, after this happened, I think on Thursday, ili manage to come up tena in the evening of that day, and then the following day. So it will push back with one big candle, which was a very strong one. But again, if you did get into the market here, I believe you're still in profits. For me, I wouldn't really panic. I'd actually add positions because I'm anticipating that itafika hapa. However, that even depends. Weekly unaona aje? In the short term, that is.
Naona tu ikifilio
This
like hiyo candles hiyo ni hiyo.
So hata mimi I'm anticipating for that. So once it feels this one, ndio tutakuwa tunaangalia tuone what happens after that. So for me hata mimi na anticipating itafika hapa kwanza before either you make higher highs ama low, but most likely ikifika hapa tunaweza rudi kwa our previous analysis, if you guys can remember, tuone that inaweza kuja tena huku chini. It can come to challenge this area. So in the long run, for me, the New Zealand dollar, I'm very skeptical. I'm still thinking that the bears are still in control. The bears are still in control of this market until tufika hii area kwanza, before we again take another direction of whether we will make lower lows or come back to make higher highs. Sijui kama umesema gani ingine Sheila? Sijui kama tumeelewana kwa hiyo kwanza.
Yeah, tuko clear kwa hiyo. GBP/AUD.
So again, because of the war, tutakuwa na reservations zetu, but as you can see, lastly, I think tulichora, sijui kani lastly because tunafanyanga editing mingi, hii area imepita, hii trend line imeputwa to the lower side, meaning the bears are in control of the market to begin with, and that means that they might push the market to a lower side in the long run. However, because of the momentum again venye tunasema, tunaweza experience some sort of pullbacks, but hizi pullbacks hazitakaa sana, especially in this currency pair venye naiona. In this currency pair, for me, I think I would be in a bearish market. So first ningeangalia a good entry at first, because there's a small gapping, sijui kama unaiona. No. So kuna hii gapping kidogo, so inaweza kama kufeel kwanza ama ipande juu kwanza alafu itakuja kufeel ikiendanga chini. So I think this specific currency pair, yeah, I think it is an interesting one, but for now I would be watching to see whether it comes back right in before it makes another move, because hakuna news kubwa hakuna that much impact of a news tuna expect from the two currencies, isipokuwa ulikuwa unasema ni gani umeona Sheila?
AUD but ya usiku though.
Usiku ya saa ngapi?
10:30 PM our time.
Sidhani ita affect market yetu sana. Sidhani ita affect the GA, the Aussie. So but wacha tuone. But for me, I think technical analysis, naona kama hii market kwanza itarudi ndani kidogo, so that ikuja na momentum kuchallenge area. Itakuja, these are our long term targets. Our short targets, sijui kama Barkutu wanaona kama CCM ako na different opinion, because the bulls walifika hapa wakashindwa.
Hapo ni same thing vile mnaona naona hapa.
So our long term target will be here. So our challenge for now will be looking at the entries. Ndio itakuwa tu challenge yetu.
Tungoje.
Anything else? I think we're okay. Tunaweza kuwa na webinars tupitiange some a number of different topics to refresh, so that tukifanya analysis yetu venye tunapita juu mtu akuwe anaelewa in depth. Any changes in the market again tunaweza kuwa tunaangalia. So I think that is it for me, unless kuna currency pengine nataka tuangalie, of which naona pia time imeisha.
Nani trade BTC USD?
Me when I trade but once in a while because of its volatility. Ishainipotezea a funded account, spendangi mchezo na
Hebu tuione tu kiasi.
a very interesting one. Yes, so this is it. Actually nilikuwa na anticipate kama gold ilikuwa zina buy, if the metals were buying, I expected that crypto will also buy at this time of crisis. But again, I think kuna so much to look at when it comes to crypto. Yeah, I think there's a lot to look at when it comes to crypto. For me, hii crypto unaona iko sahi ina support area. So sijui kama kwanza itakuja kuchallenge this area hapa before it move up to the downside. So for today ukiangalia in 4 hours even ndio inakaa. So for today naona kama inaweza rudi chini kidogo alafu ikuje ku breach this area to the upper side. Na anticipate that by today inaweza fika 40. But again, it's Bitcoin. I'm not sure of it because it has not given us anything clear, and especially because this was because of the war. Na tuna try ku recover. So naona kama gold imeweza ku recover. Gold imerudi place ilikuwa before. So hii pia inaweza kuwa bullish kidogo at least to this area. So naona inaweza fika 40 by today or tomorrow before it rally to around 42 by Wednesday, Thursday. And then from then tutakuwa tunaangalia different market. Do you hold BTC for long?
For sometimes like come a month nafanya tu swing yake month na zile zenye na holding like 3 months
Na lot size ya
ina depend ezeka hadi 0.05. Siku hizi nimeamua tu ikae juu BTC
nao ni profitable sana.
Though ni profitable lakini inaweza kusmashia account like crazy wewe.
Ba sasa the risk hiyo risk ndio ninapoa skeptical nayo. Isha ni waste ya funded account, so spendangi mchezo.
Unaweza tena nimekuwa nikifanya nini prop farm, najaribu prop farm by the way, so inanisaidia sometimes kwa hii BTC, but last week nilienda loss juu market ili push to direct on Monday cause nothing, hatuko tunajua, ndio tuliamka tu asubuhi market isha move.
Naona kama nimepotea, but I think tumemaliza zile analysis tulikuwa tunataka kumaliza, so kesho
Po alafu na hiyo, hebu angalia euro GBP uchekione kitu inafanya juu inakaa ieleweki tena.